Commander Tice stood at the center of her bridge and watched the stars through the main viewport. The Valorian hegemony had given her 6 cruisers and orders to patrol the edge of unclaimed space. It was boring work. Nothing ever happened out here. Just empty void and dead rocks floating in the darkness. "Commander," said her sensor officer, a young male named Keth, "we are approaching the yellow star system. The one headquarters flagged for investigation." Tice flicked her tail in acknowledgement. Her blue scales caught the light from the control panels around her. "What do we know about it?" "Very little," Keth admitted. 8 planets. 1 gas giant. The 3rd planet shows signs of primitive civilization. Radio signals. Basic space technology. Nothing worth our attention. Tice had heard this before. The galaxy was full of young species still playing with rockets and satellites. They would either destroy themselves or eventually crawl out into the stars. Either way, the hegemony would deal with them when the time came. "Run full scans anyway," she ordered. "Headquarters wants a complete report." The flotilla moved deeper into the system. 6 cruisers in perfect formation, their engines glowing soft purple against the black. Tice felt proud of her crew. They were well-trained, professional. The best sensors in the known galaxy hummed with power as they swept across every rock and cloud of dust. "Scan complete," Keth announced. "I am detecting the expected planets. Asteroid belt between 4th and 5th planet. Primitive satellites round the 3rd world. Several chemical rocket launches in the past decade." He paused. "Nothing else of interest." Tice nodded. "Just as expected. Another empty system with another primitive species." She would file her report and move on to the next patrol sector. But something made her pause. A feeling she could not explain. The scales on the back of her neck rose slightly. She looked out at the stars again. "Keth," she said slowly. "Run the scan again, Commander. Run it again. Full spectrum. Maximum sensitivity." Keth looked confused but obeyed. His fingers moved across the control panel. The sensors swept out again, reaching across millions of kilometers of space. "Same results," he said. "Empty space. Asteroid field. Primitive planet. Nothing else." Tice should have been satisfied. But she wasn't. Something felt wrong. The silence was too complete. The emptiness was too perfect. "Show me the raw data," she ordered. Keth transferred the information to her personal screen. Tice studied it carefully. Numbers and readings scrolled past. Everything looked normal. Energy signatures from the star. Radiation from the gas giant. Heat from the primitive planet cities. Then she saw it. Small gaps in the data. Tiny moments where the sensors registered nothing at all. Not empty space. Not background radiation. Absolute zero. As if small pieces of the universe simply did not exist. "What is this?" she asked, pointing at the anomalies. Keth leaned over to look. His eyes narrowed. "Sensor errors, most likely. Our equipment is old. Due for replacement next cycle." "These are not errors," Tice said quietly. "Errors show random patterns. These gaps are moving. Together. Information." Keth stared at the data. His face went pale. "That is impossible. Nothing can hide from hegemony sensors. We can detect a ship's heat signature from 3 systems away. Unless there is no heat signature to detect." The bridge fell silent. Every officer stopped their work and looked at their commander. Tice felt her hearts beating faster. 200 years of hegemony dominance. 200 years of being the most advanced species in their sector of the galaxy. And now, something was out there that their technology could not see. "Red alert," Tice ordered. Her voice stayed calm even though fear was growing in her chest. "All weapons to ready status. Inform the other ships." Alarms began to wail. Purple lights flashed across the bridge. On the other 5 cruisers, crews scrambled to battle stations. Weapons charged. Shields activated. The flotilla prepared for a threat they could not find. "Keth, focus all sensors on the largest gap in the data. Maximum power." Keth's hands shook as he adjusted the controls. The main sensor ray-turned, focusing billions of credits worth of technology on a single patch of empty space. "Nothing," Keth whispered. "There is nothing there. Just void." Tice walked closer to the viewport. She pressed her face against the cold glass and stared out at the stars. Her eyes were not as powerful as her sensors, but her instincts were older than any technology. She looked at the stars. She looked at the spaces between the stars, and then she saw it, a shadow, darker than the void around it, a shape that blocked the distant starlight, massive, silent, closer than she had imagined possible. There, she breathed. Right there. Kef looked where she pointed. I see nothing, because your sensors are blind. Use your eyes. One by one, the bridge crew gathered at the viewport. They stared into the darkness, and one by one, they began to see. Not one shadow, not two, dozens, huge shapes drifting in perfect formation. Ships larger than anything the hegemony had ever built. Ships that made no sound, produced no heat, and reflected no light. Ghost ships. By the ancestors, someone whispered. Tice pulled herself together. Fear was useless. She was a commander of the Valorian hegemony. She had a duty to her crew. Target the nearest shadow, she ordered. Prepare to fire warning shots. Her weapons officer worked frantically at his console. Sweat dripped down his scales. Commander, I cannot lock on. The targeting computer requires a sensor reading. There is no reading. The computer says the target does not exist. Then fire manually. Aim with your eyes. The system does not allow manual targeting. It is designed to prevent accidents. Tice cursed under her breath. Their advanced technology had become their prison. They could see the enemy with their own eyes, but their weapons refused to believe it was there. Communications, she called out. Send an emergency signal to Hegemony Command. Tell them we have encountered unknown vessels. Ships that are invisible to all scanning technology. Request immediate reinforcement. Sending now, the communications officer replied. Message transmitted. Tice returned to her command chair. Her mind raced through options. Fight? They could not target the enemy. Run? Those ships had followed them without being detected. If they wanted to attack, they would have done so already. So what did they want? The answer came a moment later. Every light on the bridge flickered once. Then the main screen activated on its own. Static filled the display, then cleared to show a face. An alien face. Not Valorian. Not any species Tice had ever seen. Soft skin without scales. Small eyes set forward like a predator. A mouth that curved upward in what might have been a smile. A voice spoke, clear, calm, speaking perfect Valorian language. Commander Tice of the Valorian hegemony. My name is Admiral Chen Wei of the United Nations Navy. Please do not be afraid. We mean you no harm. We have been watching your patrol for 6 hours. We could have destroyed your ships at any time. We chose not to. Tice could not speak. Her throat had closed with shock. The alien continued. Your sensors cannot detect us. Your weapons cannot target us. You are completely at our mercy. But we did not come here to fight. We came here to talk. Kef made a small sound of terror. Other officers gripped their consoles with white-knuckled claws. The predator face on the screen showed no aggression. No threat, just patience. You are the first species we have chosen to contact directly, Admiral Chen said. Do you know why? Tice finally found her voice. No. Because you are the first species we have observed who did not shoot at the unknown. When your sensors found something strange, you investigated. You asked questions. You tried to understand. The human's smile widened slightly. That is rare in this galaxy. Most species fire first and ask questions never. Tice thought about the hegemony's history, the wars they had fought, the species they had conquered. Chen was right. If Tice had detected any other unknown ship, her first instinct would have been to attack. But she couldn't attack what she couldn't see. What do you want? She asked. We want to introduce ourselves. We want to explain who we are and why we have remained hidden for so long. We want to offer friendship, and if we refuse, Admiral Chen's expression did not change. Then we will let you go home. We will return to the shadows, and you will spend the rest of your life wondering if we are watching. We probably will be. The screen flickered and went dark. The bridge fell into heavy silence. Tice looked out the viewport at the shadows among the stars. 17 ships, maybe more. Technology beyond anything the hegemony had imagined. And they wanted to talk. She thought about her options. She thought about her crew. She thought about what this could mean for her people. Then she straightened her spine and made her decision. Open a channel, she ordered. Tell them we accept their invitation. Tell them we want to talk. The communications officer hesitated. "Commander, protocol requires us to contact Hegemony Command first. To get authorization, protocol does not cover invisible warships appearing from empty space. Open the channel." The officer obeyed. Outside, the ghost ships waited in perfect silence, and somewhere on the human flagship, Admiral Chenwei nodded with satisfaction. First contact had begun. It was not the last surprise the humans had prepared. Not even close. Admiral Chenwei stood on the observation deck of the UNS Thermopylae and watched the Valorian cruisers through the reinforced glass. No screens, no sensors, just his own two eyes and the cold light of distant stars. Behind him, the bridge crew worked in near silence. They communicated through hand signals and whispered words. Every system on the ship ran at minimum power. No radar, no active scanning, no electronic emissions of any kind. This was how humans fought. This was how humans survived. "Admiral," whispered Commander Sarah Park, his second in command, "the Valorians have accepted our invitation. They want to talk." Chen nodded slowly. "Good. They passed the first test, sir. They did not fire blindly into the dark. Most species would have." He turned away from the viewport. "Prepare the escort formation. We will guide them to anchor station. Keep all weapons cold. I want them to understand we mean what we say." Park saluted and moved to carry out his orders. Chen remained at the viewport for another moment, studying the alien ships. Elegant design, advanced technology. The Valorian hegemony was powerful by galactic standards. They had conquered dozens of systems. They believed themselves masters of their region of space. They had no idea what was hiding in the darkness around them. Chen thought back to the beginning. 50 years ago, humanity had detected its first alien signal. A Valorian trade ship passing through a nearby system. The whole planet had celebrated. Proof of intelligent life beyond Earth. The greatest discovery in human history. Then the intelligence agencies got involved. They intercepted more signals, decoded alien languages, built a picture of the galaxy around them, and what they found terrified them. War, conquest, extinction. The galaxy was a dangerous place. Species rose and fell. The strong devoured the weak. Even the peaceful civilizations maintained massive military forces because the alternative was death. Humanity faced a choice: announce themselves and hope for the best, or stay quiet and prepare. They chose silence. For 50 years, humanity had watched the galaxy without being seen. They built ships designed around a single principle: invisibility. Metamaterial hulls that absorbed every known scanning frequency. Engines that converted waste heat into stored energy. Communications that used quantum entanglement instead of radio waves. The universe could not see humanity because humanity did not want to be seen. "Admiral," Park reported from across the bridge. "Escort formation is ready. 17 ships surrounding the Valorian flotilla. They still cannot detect us. They can see us with their eyes now." Chen reminded her. "That is enough. Take us to anchor station. Slow approach. Give them time to observe." The human fleet moved like shadows through space. Chen watched through his viewport as the Valorian cruisers followed, surrounded by ships they could barely perceive. He imagined what Commander Tice must be feeling right now. Fear, certainly. Confusion, maybe curiosity. He hoped for curiosity. That would make this easier. The journey to anchor station took for hours, long enough for the Valorians to study their escorts. Long enough for them to realize just how badly they were outmatched. Anchor station appeared on the viewport like a mountain of rock floating in the asteroid belt. To Valorian sensors, it would have looked like any other asteroid. Just another piece of debris drifting through space. Chen knew better. "Open the bay doors," he ordered. "Welcome our guests." A section of the asteroid's surface split apart. Light spilled out from within, revealing a massive docking bay carved into the rock. Human ships glided inside without a sound. The Valorian cruisers followed, moving slowly, carefully, like prey walking into a predator's den. Inside, the true scale of anchor station became clear. The hollowed asteroid stretched for kilometers. Hundreds of ships rested in berths along the walls. Factories, laboratories, and living quarters filled every available space. This was not just a military base. It was a hidden city. Chen met Commander Tice at the main airlock. He brought no guards, No weapons, just himself and Commander Park. Tice emerged with two of her own officers. Her blue scales shimmered under the station's lights. Her yellow eyes studied Chen with intense focus. She was smaller than him but radiated authority. A warrior species. A predator species. Chen bowed his head in greeting. Commander Tice, welcome to Anchor Station. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Tice did not return the bow. You said you have been watching us for 6 hours. How long have you been watching the hegemony? Chen smiled. He liked her directness. 50 years, silence. Tice's officers looked at each other with shock. Tice herself remained still, but Chen saw her tail twitch, a sign of strong emotion among her species. 50 years, she repeated. Impossible. We would have detected something, a signal, a ship, something. You detected nothing because we wanted you to detect nothing. Chen gestured toward a corridor leading deeper into the station. Walk with me. Let me show you what humanity has been doing while the galaxy wasn't looking. They walked through Anchor Station together. Chen explained as they moved. He told Tice about the first detection of alien life. He told her about humanity's decision to remain hidden. He told her about the decades of silent observation, gathering intelligence on every species within range. We built ships that cannot be seen, he said. We developed technology that does not exist according to your sensors. And we used that advantage not to conquer, but to watch and learn. Tice stopped walking. Why, if you have such power, why not use it? Chen considered his answer carefully. Because power without wisdom is just violence. We saw what happens to species that reveal themselves too early. They get conquered or destroyed. We were not going to let that happen to us. So you hid like cowards. We hid like survivors. Chen met her eyes without anger. The galaxy is dangerous. You know this better than most. Your hegemony rose to power by defeating your enemies before they could defeat you. We chose a different path. They continued walking. Chen led them to a large observation room overlooking one of the station's manufacturing bays. Below, robots assembled the hull of a new warship. The design was sleek and angular, covered in the same sensor-absorbing material as the rest of the human fleet. We are not conquerors, Chen said. We are guardians. Tice frowned. What does that mean? It means we protect. We intervene. We prevent catastrophe. Chen activated a display screen on the wall. Images appeared. Ships fighting. Explosions blooming in the void. 3 years ago, the Keth Syndicate launched a surprise attack on the Valoran colony at Axis Prime. Do you remember? Tice nodded slowly. I remember. Our defense fleet was out of position. The colony should have been destroyed, but the Syndicate ships suffered a cascade of system failures. Their weapons went offline. Their engines lost power. They retreated in confusion. We never understood why. Chen smiled. Because you did not know we were there. A human strike team infiltrated their flagship while they were preparing to fire. We disabled their critical systems. We saved your colony without firing a single shot. Tice stared at him. That was you? That was us. One of dozens of similar interventions. We do not take sides. We do not seek payment. We simply try to prevent unnecessary death. Why? Chen was quiet for a moment. Then he turned to face the viewport again, looking out at the vast emptiness of space. Because someone has to, he said finally. The galaxy is full of species fighting over resources, territory, pride. Most of that fighting accomplishes nothing except death. We decided that if we were going to build the most advanced military force in the sector, we would use it to stop wars instead of start them. Tice moved to stand beside him. Her reflection in the glass showed an expression Chen could not read. You could rule the galaxy, she said. You could conquer every species you have been watching. No one could stop you, yes, but you choose to hide in the shadows and play protector. We choose to use our power responsibly. There is a difference. Tice was silent for a long time. Her officers whispered to each other behind her, but she ignored them. Chen waited. He understood that everything depended on her next words. Finally, she spoke. Why reveal yourselves to us now? After 50 years of silence, why us? Chen turned to look at her directly. Because you are different. We have observed hundreds of first contact situations. Every single time, the species being contacted reacted with fear and aggression. They fired first and asked questions later. That is survival, Tice said. The universe is hostile. The universe is what we make it. When your sensors detected something strange, you investigated. You tried to understand. You did not attack blindly. Chen allowed himself a small smile. That tells us something important about your species. It tells us you might be ready to learn a better way. A better way. A way that does not require constant war. A way where species cooperate instead of compete. A way where the strong protect the weak instead of conquering them. Tice made a sound that might have been a laugh. You are an idealist, Admiral. The galaxy does not work that way. Not yet, Chen agreed. But it could. If enough species choose to make it happen. He gestured toward the display screen. More images appeared. Species Tice recognized and species she did not. Ships of 100 different designs. You are not the first species we have contacted, Chen said. There are others. 12 civilizations now know about humanity's existence. 12 civilizations have agreed to work together toward a common goal. The journey back to Valorian space took 3 days. Commander Tice spent most of that time alone in her quarters, staring at the data files Admiral Chen had given her. Records, intelligence, evidence of 50 years of human observation. She could barely believe what she was reading. Human ships had been present at the Battle of Korath Prime. They had watched the hegemony fleet destroy the pirate coalition without ever revealing themselves. Human agents had infiltrated the Syndicate's intelligence network. They knew the names of every Valorian spy in enemy territory. Human scientists had cured a plague on a distant colony world, then vanished before anyone could thank them. The humans had been everywhere, watching everything. Invisible ghosts moving through a galaxy that did not know they existed. And now they wanted to talk about peace. Tice closed the data files and rubbed her eyes. Her scales felt dry and tight. She had not slept properly since leaving human space. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw shadows moving among the stars. Her communications officer signaled from the bridge. Commander, we are approaching the homeworld. Hegemony Command is requesting your immediate report. Tell them I will address the full council. Tice replied. What I have to say cannot be summarized in a transmission. The council chamber was an ancient building at the heart of the capital city. Generations of Valorian leaders had stood before the High Council to report on military campaigns, trade agreements, and matters of state. Tice had been here many times before. She had never been so afraid. The 12 members of the High Council sat on elevated platforms arranged in a semicircle. Their scales ranged from deep blue to pale silver, marking their age and status. High Chancellor Vorn sat at the center, his ancient face unreadable. Commander Tice, Vorn said, your patrol reported encountering unknown vessels in the Sol system. Vessels that did not appear on your sensors. Explain. Tice took a deep breath. Then she began to speak. She told them everything. The shadow ships, Admiral Chen, Anchor Station, the Sol Accords, 50 years of human observation, the interventions that had saved Valorian lives without Valorian knowledge. The council listened in complete silence. When Tice finished, High Chancellor Vorn leaned forward. You are telling us that there is a species more advanced than the hegemony, a species that has been watching us for decades, a species that could destroy us at any moment if they chose. Yes, High Chancellor. And they claim to want peace. Yes, Vorn sat back. His expression remained neutral, but Tice saw doubt in his eyes. The other council members whispered among themselves. Some looked frightened. Others looked angry. This is impossible, said Councillor Kreth, a hardliner known for her aggressive military views. No species could hide from our sensors. Our technology is the most advanced in the sector. This must be a trick. Some kind of deception. I saw their ships with my own eyes, Tice replied. I walked through their station. I spoke with their admiral. It is not a trick. Then perhaps you were fooled. Perhaps they showed you illusions, holograms, lies. Tice felt her temper rising. I know the difference between reality and illusion, Councillor. What I saw was real. Then these humans are a threat that must be eliminated. Kreth stood from her platform. If they can hide from our sensors, they can attack without warning. We cannot allow such a danger to exist. We must strike first before they strike us. They could have destroyed my flotilla at any moment. Tice argued. They chose not to. Does that sound like an enemy preparing to attack? It sounds like an enemy testing our defenses, learning our weaknesses, preparing for the perfect moment. The argument continued for hours. Tice found herself standing alone against a growing tide of fear and paranoia. The council members were afraid, and afraid people made dangerous decisions. Finally, High Chancellor Vorn raised his hand for silence. Enough, we have heard Commander Tice's report. Now we must decide how to respond. He looked around the chamber. I call for a vote. Do we pursue diplomatic contact with this human species, or do we prepare for military action? The votes came quickly. Councillor Kreth and her allies voted for war. 7 voices calling for destruction. The moderate members hesitated, torn between fear and reason. 3 votes for diplomacy. Vorn himself abstained. 7-3. War. Tice felt her heart sink. High Chancellor, please. This is a mistake. The humans are not our enemies. They could be our greatest allies. Vorn looked at her with something like pity. Commander, I understand your position, but the Council has spoken. We cannot ignore a threat of this magnitude. If these humans are as powerful as you say, we must act before they do. You do not understand what you are facing. Their ships cannot be targeted. Their technology is beyond anything we have seen. Attacking them would be suicide. Then we will build new weapons, develop new sensors, find their weakness. Kreth's voice was cold and confident. No species is invincible. We will find a way to make them visible, and then we will destroy them. The Council began discussing military preparations, fleet deployments, weapon development, invasion strategies. Tice listened with growing horror as her people prepared to start a war they could not win. She had one chance, one desperate option. When the council session ended, Tice returned to her quarters. She locked the door and activated her personal communicator. Before leaving Anchor Station, Admiral Chen had given her a frequency, a way to contact the humans directly. She had never imagined she would use it so soon. Admiral Chen, she said into the device. This is Commander Tice. I hope you can hear me. The council has voted. They are preparing to attack your people. They are afraid, and fear has made them foolish. Static crackled. Then Chen's voice came through, calm and clear. We know, Commander. We have been listening. Tice felt a chill run down her spine. You have infiltrated our communications. We have been monitoring your government for decades. We knew the council might react this way. Fear is a powerful emotion. Then you know I tried to stop them. I told them the truth. They would not listen. We know. And we appreciate your efforts. You showed courage today. Tice gripped the communicator tightly. What will you do? Will you attack first? Destroy our fleet before it can launch? Chen was silent for a moment. No, we do not start wars, Commander. We end them. If your people attack us, we will defend ourselves. But we will not fire the first shot. They will come with everything they have. 400 warships. Every weapon the hegemony possesses. We know. You cannot fight an entire armada. We will not have to fight. We will show them what fighting us would mean. And then we will give them a choice. Tice did not understand. What kind of choice? The same choice we gave you. The choice to be afraid or to be curious. The choice to fight or to talk. Chen's voice softened. We have been preparing for this moment for 50 years. Commander, we knew that eventually someone would try to destroy us. We made sure we would survive. And we made sure we could show mercy even to those who attacked us. Tice sat down heavily. Her scales had gone pale with stress. You speak of mercy, but how can you show mercy to an enemy that wants to destroy you? By refusing to become what they fear. By proving that power does not require cruelty. By giving them a better option than war. The communicator fell silent. Tice stared at it for a long time. She thought about the council, the fear in their eyes, the desperation in their voices. They were not evil people. They were just afraid of something they did not understand. But fear could make good people do terrible things. Admiral, she said finally, there may be a way to change some minds. If I could show them what you showed me, the records, the interventions, the lives you saved without asking for anything in return. We can provide you with additional evidence. But will they believe it? I do not know. But I have to try. I have to give them a chance to see the truth before it is too late. Chen's voice carried a note of respect. You are risking your career, your freedom, perhaps your life. Sharing classified information with a foreign power is treason. I know. Tice took a deep breath. But some things are more important than my career, more important than my life. If there is any chance of preventing this war, I have to take it. Silence on the line. Then Chen spoke again. You remind me of someone, Commander, a human who lived long ago. He said that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. What happened to him? He spent his life fighting for what was right. He made enemies. He suffered. But he never stopped trying to make the world better. Tice nodded even though Chen could not see her. Send me everything you have. I will make sure it reaches the right people. Even if I have to break every law to do it, the transmission is already on its way. And Commander, thank you. Whatever happens next, know that you tried to do the right thing. That matters more than you might imagine. The connection ended. A moment later, Tice's console began receiving encrypted files. Thousands of records, images, reports, proof of everything the humans had claimed. She began copying the files to a portable device. If she was going to commit treason, she would do it proper. The Valorian Armada launched 3 weeks after the Council vote. 400 warships carrying the combined military might of the hegemony. It was the largest fleet assembled in 3 centuries, bristling with weapons designed to destroy anything that dared to challenge Valorian supremacy. High Admiral Dreth commanded the fleet from the dreadnought Eternal Conquest. He was Councillor Kreth's brother, a veteran of a dozen campaigns, and a firm believer in military solutions to every problem. When the Council had given him command of the invasion force, he had accepted with grim satisfaction. Invisible enemies, ghost ships, nonsense. Every enemy could be seen if you looked hard enough. Every enemy could be killed if you hit them hard enough. The humans would learn this lesson soon. The journey to the Sol system took 8 days. Dreth used the time to drill his crews and refine his tactics. The science teams worked constantly, trying to develop new sensor rays that might detect the human ships. They made little progress. High Admiral reported his sensor officer on the final day. We are approaching the Sol system. No contacts detected. Of course not, Dreth growled. They are invisible. But that does not matter. We are not here to find them. We are here to destroy them. How do we destroy what we cannot see? Dreth smiled coldly. We destroy everything else. Their stations, their planets, their infrastructure. Eventually, they will have nowhere to hide. Then we will finish them. The Armada entered the Sol system with weapons hot. 400 ships spreading across space like a wave of destruction. Their target was the 3rd planet, the primitive world called Earth. According to Commander Tice's report, the humans had originated there. Destroy the home world, and the invisible fleet would have nothing left to protect. All ships approach the 3rd planet, Dreth ordered. Prepare planetary bombardment weapons. On my signal, we will reduce their cities to ash. The Armada moved deeper into the system. Earth grew larger on their screens. A blue and green world covered in clouds. Lights sparkled on the night side, marking the locations of billions of lives. Dreth felt no sympathy. These humans had chosen to threaten the hegemony by existing. They had built weapons that could not be seen. They had watched and waited like predators. Now they would pay the price. High Admiral, the communications officer interrupted. We are receiving a transmission. Audio only. Human origin. Dreth frowned. Play it. Admiral Chen's voice filled the bridge. Calm. Almost gentle. High Admiral Dreth, we know why you are here. We know what you intend to do. Before you give that order, I want you to understand something. We are not hiding anymore. Dreth laughed. Empty words. You cannot stop for 100 warships. Look up. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every sensor on every ship in the Armada registered the same impossible reading. Not one contact. Not 10. Thousands. Space itself seemed to change. The stars flickered as massive shapes emerged from invisibility. Human battleships decloaking in perfect formation. A sphere of warships surrounding the entire Valorian Armada. Ships above them. Ships below them. Ships on every side. 2,000 vessels. Each one larger than anything the hegemony had ever built. each one aimed directly at the fleet they contained. The bridge crew of the Eternal Conquest stared at their screens in disbelief. The sensor readings were overwhelming. So many ships that the computer struggled to count them all. Dreth's scales went pale. His confidence crumbled like sand before a wave. "That is impossible," he whispered. "This is impossible," Admiral Chen's voice continued. "We have been building this fleet for 50 years. We have ships in every sector of the galaxy. Right now, as we speak, human vessels are hovering over every hegemony world, every colony, every military installation. We could destroy your entire civilization in an hour." The crew looked to Dreth for orders. He had none to give. His mind had gone blank with shock. "But we are not going to do that," Chen continued. "We did not build this fleet to conquer. We built it to protect, to prevent exactly the kind of war you are trying to start." A holographic display activated in the center of the bridge without anyone touching the controls. Chen's face appeared, calm and serious. "Hi, Admiral, I want to show you something. I am broadcasting this to every ship in your fleet and to every receiver in the hegemony. I want everyone to see and hear what I am about to say." The display changed. Records began playing. Human ships intervening in battles across the galaxy. Pirates disabled without a shot fired. Plague cures delivered anonymously. Refugees rescued from war zones. 50 years of quiet protection, documented in thousands of files. "This is what humanity has been doing while we remained hidden," Chen explained. "We watched the galaxy tear itself apart with war after war. We saw species destroy each other over territory, resources, pride. And we decided to try something different. We decided to help." The records continued. Specific incidents that every Valorian officer recognized. The Battle of Korath Prime, where the pirate fleet had mysteriously malfunctioned. The Syndicate attack on Axis Prime, where weapons had failed at the critical moment. A dozen other events that had seemed like miracles or good fortune. "We saved Valorian lives," Chen said. "Many times. You never knew because we never asked for credit. We just wanted to prevent suffering." Dreth found his voice. "Then why reveal yourselves now? Why threaten us with this fleet? Because you forced our hand. You came here to destroy our home, to kill billions of innocent people. We had to show you what that choice would mean." The display zoomed out to show a tactical map. 2,000 human ships surrounding 400 Valorian vessels. The mathematics were clear. The outcome was inevitable. "But I am not here to gloat about our advantage," Chen continued. "I am here to offer you a choice. The same choice we have offered every species we have contacted." "What choice?" "You can fire first. Start the war you came here to fight. We will defend ourselves, and your entire fleet will be destroyed in minutes. Then we will have to deal with the rest of the hegemony, and many more will die." Dreth said nothing. His crew waited in terrified silence. "Or," Chen said, "you can stand down. Return home. Tell your council what you saw today. Tell them that humanity wants peace, not war. Tell them that there is a better way, and if we choose peace, what happens then? Then we begin real diplomatic relations. We share technology. We share knowledge. We work together to make the galaxy safer for everyone." Chen's expression softened. "We do not want to rule you. We do not want to conquer you. We want to help you become something better than you are." The bridge fell silent. Every officer stared at their screens, at the thousands of human ships surrounding them. Any one of those ships could destroy the Eternal Conquest. Together, they could exterminate the entire hegemony. But they were not firing. They were waiting, giving the Valorians a chance to choose. Dreth thought about his orders, about the Council's fear, about his sister's hatred of the unknown. He thought about the records Chen had shown him. All those times human ships had protected Valorian lives without anyone knowing. Why would an enemy do that? Why would a conqueror save the people they intended to destroy? Unless they were not enemies at all. "Hi, Admiral," his weapons officer said quietly. "Your orders?" Dreth looked at the tactical display. 400 ships against 2,000. No chance of victory. No chance of survival if they fought. His only options were death or surrender. But surrender to what? An enemy that had protected them for decades? An enemy that could destroy them now but chose not to? Perhaps they were not surrendering. Perhaps they were simply making a better choice. "All ships," Dreth said slowly. Power down weapons. Lower shields. High Admiral, you heard me. We are standing down. Dreth's voice grew stronger. We came here expecting monsters. Instead, we found guardians. We came here to destroy, and they offered us peace. I will not fire on an enemy that refuses to be an enemy. One by one, the Valorian ships powered down their weapons. Blue lights flickered off across the armada as crews followed their commander's lead. A few ships hesitated, their captains loyal to Councillor Kreth and her hatred. But they were surrounded, outnumbered, and alone. Eventually, every weapon went cold. Admiral Chen's voice returned. Thank you, High Admiral. You have made a wise choice. Perhaps the wisest choice any Valorian has ever made. I have made the only choice that leads to survival, Dreth replied. But I have also made the choice I believe is right. Show me that I can trust you. Show me that everything you said is true. We will. But first, I think there is someone who wants to speak with you. The holographic display changed again. A new face appeared. Blue scales, yellow eyes. A female Valorian officer. Commander Tice, High Admiral Dreth, she said. I am glad you listened. Dreth stared at her. Commander, you sent the warning to the humans. You told them we were coming. Yes, I committed treason to prevent a war we could not win. I expect to be arrested when I return home. That depends on what happens next. Dreth studied her face. You believe these humans are sincere? I do. I walked through their station. I spoke with their admiral. They could have destroyed us 100 times and never did. They are not our enemies, High Admiral. They never were. Dreth considered her words. Around him, 2,000 human ships maintained their positions, weapons cold, waiting patiently for the Valorians to decide their own fate. Then perhaps, he said slowly, at first contact with human battleships. It skipped their scanners screaming in terror. A year had passed since the confrontation at Seoul. Commander Tice stood on the bridge of her new ship, the VHS Unity, and watched the stars through the viewport. So much had changed in 12 months. So much had grown. The Unity was the first joint vessel ever built by Valorian and human engineers working together. Her hull combined hegemony armor with human stealth technology. Her sensors could detect things no Valorian scanner had ever seen before. Her crew was mixed, blue-scaled officers working alongside soft-skinned humans, learning from each other with every passing day. Tice had expected resistance. She had expected hatred and suspicion. Instead, she had found curiosity. Once the truth spread through the hegemony, once people understood what humanity had really been doing for 50 years, opinions began to change. Not everyone, of course. Councillor Kreth and her allies still preached fear and aggression. They called the Soul Accords a trap. They warned that humanity would eventually reveal their true intentions. But fewer people listened now. Hard to fear invisible monsters when those monsters had spent decades saving your colonies. Without asking for thanks, Commander, said Lieutenant Chen, her human tactical officer. He was Admiral Chen's nephew, assigned to the Unity as a symbol of cooperation between their species. We are approaching the rendezvous coordinates. Tice nodded. All stop. Signal arrival. The Unity slowed and transmitted a brief message. A moment later, space rippled around them. Ships appeared from nowhere, human vessels decloaking in perfect formation. The Third Silent Fleet, still commanded by Admiral Chenwei. But they were not alone. More ships emerged, vessels from 12 different species. The full membership of the Soul Accords gathered for their first joint military exercise. Ships of every shape and size, representing civilizations that had been enemies a generation ago. Now they were family. Commander Tice, Admiral Chen's voice came through the communications system. Welcome to Operation Lighthouse. It is good to see the Unity again. Thank you, Admiral. It is good to be here. Tice looked at the assembled fleet. So many ships, so many species, all working together because humanity had shown them a better way. The exercise lasted 3 days. Human ships taught the others how to move silently through space. Valorian tacticians shared their expertise in fleet coordination. The insectoid Keth contributed their knowledge of rapid manufacturing. The aquatic Delphians demonstrated advanced communications technology. Each species had something to offer. Each species had something to learn. Together, they were becoming something none of them could have been alone. On the final day of the exercise, Tice received an invitation to Admiral Chen's flagship for a private dinner. She accepted without hesitation. The human vessel was as impressive as she remembered. Clean lines, efficient design, everything built for function rather than display. Chen met her at the airlock himself. "Commander, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me, Admiral. It has been too long." They walked together through the ship's corridors. Human crew members nodded respectfully as they passed. A few Valorian exchange officers saluted Tice with obvious pride. "Your people have adapted well," Chen observed. "Better than most. We had good teachers." Tice studied the Admiral's face. The past year had aged him slightly. Gray streaked his dark hair. Lines had deepened around his eyes. "You look tired, Admiral." Chen smiled faintly. "Running 20 secret fleets for 50 years takes its toll. Now that we are not so secret anymore, I find I do not know what to do with my time. Perhaps you could take a vacation, perhaps. But first, there is work to be done." He led her to a private dining room with a viewport overlooking the assembled fleet. "I wanted to discuss the future with you, Commander." The real future. Tice took a seat across from him. A human steward brought food and wine, then departed silently. "What future is that?" Tice asked. "The one we have been building towards since the beginning." Chen poured wine for both of them. "The soul accords are growing. More species are asking to join every month. The galaxy is changing, not fast enough for some. No, there are still wars, still conflicts. The Syndicate continues to raid border systems. The collective expands through conquest." Chen's expression darkened. "But for the first time in galactic history, there's an alternative. A community of species working together instead of fighting each other." Tice sipped her wine. Human beverages were strange but pleasant. "You are building something that has never existed before. We are all building it together. Humanity just provided the first blueprint." Chen leaned forward. "Commander, I have a proposal for you. The Soul Accords need leadership. Not human leadership, but shared leadership. Representatives from every member species working as equals. You want me to be the Valorian representative? I want you to be more than that. I want you to chair the Joint Defense Council. Coordinate our combined military forces. Help us protect the species that cannot protect themselves." Tice stared at him. "Why me?" "Because you saw the truth before anyone else. Because you risked everything to prevent a war. Because you understand what we are trying to build." Chen smiled. "And because you are not afraid to tell humans when we are wrong. We need someone who will keep us honest." Tice thought about the offer. A year ago, she had been a patrol commander investigating strange readings in empty space. Now she was being asked to help lead an alliance of civilizations. "The Hegemony Council will not approve," she said finally. "They still do not trust humanity completely. High Admiral Dreth has already spoken to them. He supports your nomination. He believes you are the right choice, Dreth. He was ready to destroy your planet a year ago. People can change, Commander. That is the whole point of what we are doing. Giving people the chance to choose something better." Tice looked out the viewport at the gathered ships. Human, Valorian, Keth, Delphian. A dozen other species she was still learning to recognize. All of them here because they believed the galaxy could be different. She thought about her journey. The fear she had felt when she first saw shadow ships in the void. The hope she had discovered on Anchor Station. The desperation of committing treason to prevent a war. The joy of watching her people choose peace instead of destruction. That it had been worth it. All of it. "I accept," she said. Chen raised his glass. "To the future, then. May it be better than the past. To the future." They drank together as the stars burned outside. Somewhere in the darkness, human ships still patrolled silently. But now they were not alone. Now they had allies, partners, friends. The galaxy was still dangerous. There were still enemies who wanted to conquer and destroy. But for the first time, there was something stronger than fear holding civilizations together. Trust. After dinner, Tice returned to the Unity. Her mixed crew greeted her with smiles and salutes. Human and Valorian working side by side, learning each other's languages and customs and jokes. Lieutenant Chen approached her on the bridge. "Commander, I heard about your appointment. Congratulations. Thank you, Lieutenant. There's much work ahead of us, yes, but good work. Important work. He hesitated. My uncle asked me to give you something. A gift. He handed her a small data chip. Tice activated it and found a single file. A recording from 50 years ago. The first human transmission ever sent into space after they detected alien life. A simple message in a dozen languages. We know you are out there. We choose to believe you might be friends. Please prove us right. Tice smiled. The universe had taken 50 years to answer that message, but the answer had finally come, not through war, not through conquest, through patience, courage, and an unwavering belief that there was good in the galaxy worth protecting. She saved the file to her personal archive. Then she turned to her crew, set course for Soul Accord's headquarters. We have a galaxy to protect. The Unity leaped into faster-than-light travel. Behind her, the combined fleet scattered to their various missions. Some would patrol borders. Others would answer distress calls. A few would slip back into the shadows, watching and waiting, ready to help when help was needed. The work would never truly be done. There would always be threats, always be fear, always be those who chose violence over understanding. But now there were also guardians. Invisible ships crewed by beings from 100 different worlds, united not by conquest but by choice, and somewhere at the heart of it all, humanity watched over a galaxy that was slowly learning to believe in something better. They had waited 50 years for this moment. It was worth the wait. In the end, the greatest weapon humanity had ever built was not a ship or a bomb, or a fleet of invisible warships. It was hope. And hope, unlike any weapon, could never be destroyed. It could only spread.